this is the first time we have a co-host, and Brett is super excited to introduce these musicians, to listen to them, and to really be part of the conversation as to how we continue to help artists to grow and to progress during this very difficult time where so many industries are grounded, including the music industry. In fact, I might even say the music industry is probably one of the hardest hit. But yet there are so many musicians out there that I believe could, are doing great work. So let me bring Brett back. So Brett, I was just sharing as you were getting back on. Tell us about your role at Republic, and tell us what artists are doing these days to continue to develop, to continue to stay relevant in a time where the industry is just kind of at a standstill.
Yeah, well, obviously it's a challenging time for everybody. We've been fortunate at the record label to be able to, have artists still record music, still able to put it on the release schedule and get the music out. A lot of components have been grounded, unfortunately, from obviously the live touring business, making music videos, doing promotion. It's really been interesting to try to market and promote artists in a time when, so many of the catalysts that we're able to depend on are absent from us right now. So it's really interesting. There's silver linings to everything, really. In the sense that everyone's trying to be nimble. Everyone's now more focused on making music because they have little choice. So now it's about the creative process and really honing your craft as songwriters, as music makers. As far as the quarantine world and this new virtual world that we're all experiencing together, it works for some artists. Some artists it doesn't work so good for. The Zoom sessions is not the natural habitat for a lot of artists that like to get in a room with other collaborators and really foster inspiration, really foster sort of, the collaboration that you usually get from the creative process. So, but at the end of the day, there really is no choice. So people have to make it work best they can. Some artists have been really gung-ho. We released, The Weeknd's album, which ended up being his biggest album ever, right at the start of the quarantine. And that was a success. And then, we've continued to see some artists that have struggled with the situation, and others that, really been able to forge ahead. So, it's sort of, when life.
And is it the same? Is it the same for signed artists versus ones that are not signed but are merging and growing? I mean, I'm imagining there's some similar challenges.
I for sure think obviously the typical paths to getting your music out there and getting your name out there, especially for new artists or unsigned artists, is more challenging than ever. There's obviously things live online, and and touring and doing shows is part of it, but it's also sort of the viral space, the online component, and there's it's hard to make great content when you can't be in the same room as people as far as visual content, videos. TikTok is something that was thriving before all this, and that obviously lends itself to with a phone and doing some creative things with your music. And so it's for better or for worse. That's where a lot of artists. I work with Benny, who she was developing nicely, but sort of at the start of the quarantine, it wasn't her doing TikToks, but it was some other fans of hers, and some pretty prominent fans on TikTok started using her song, and it exploded. And so, she has a song called Super Lonely. It was really fun for the times, and it really was driven out of TikTok. But, it's not really, it's not ideal to depend on, that one medium. Usually the marketing mix, the artist development mix depends on a lot of things, videos and touring and and just so many things that aren't even film and television. That production's been at a standstill, and so a lot of music, especially for independent artists that are able to place their music in TV and film, a lot of that's been stunted. So it's challenging overall for sure.